And I'm live, dead to live. So welcome everyone to my stream. Today I'll be talking about 3D animations, critiquing 3D animations by Blizzard, and specifically today, after some weeks of anticipation, I finally will be critiquing a good one from Blizzard. This is in From the Heart of the Swarm, where I shall not review the content, let you guys enjoy it straight. So let me set up the stream. I think, oh, actually I've already gotten it set up. Let me check the volume. 60 should be fine. Windows volume 60 should be fine. And this time I actually will not be watching the video from YouTube, because the videos on YouTube, they have very varying quality. And actually I got this one straight from the game itself, just recorded, screen capture, and then I change the volume up a little, so it should be rather loud, and it's important that you hear the conversation in this animation. So without further ado, I am going to disappear and then mute myself as well, and you see the video.
Face me, Rude. It's over.
It is only beginning. Amon whispered of this from the stars. He told you of his return. He told you of ruin, extinction, the end of all things.
Your god is dead, and he's never coming back.
Is that what you think?
No.
Sarah.
No. You're not him. You are not Jim! You are nothing! I'm everything you lost. I am everything you never had. You've already lost.
Amon lives. You will see him soon.
Doom doom doom, and I am back. Hopefully volume was good for you guys. Let me change my volume back to normal. Right, should be good. Okay, so I'm not sure if you are pumped up by the psychological depth found in this animation. It occurs throughout the animation, actually, from the beginning of a bit of it, not this beginning, but when Sarah first saw Jim Raynor, and then when the combat begins, thereafter, there's a lot of depth to it, so I'll be going through them. So let's talk about this part by part. There'll be definitely scrubbing back and forth as usual, frame by frame. So the beginning of the animation, when this door opens, it sets scale. You notice that there is no establishing shot for this. You can count this as an establishing shot, but really it doesn't tell a lot. So I wouldn't call this an establishing shot, more like I won't even know what to call this. My terminology, I'm not too familiar with film terms. So what I'm going to talk about here is actually the scale. It's in this shot you can actually see just how big the place is. Look at just the door. Like, this entire thing is a door, and Sarah Kerrigan is like this. Wow, I mean, look at this. How many times is this door bigger than her? Let's suppose she's a typical height of 1.65 meters. This door is probably like 20 meters at least. It's just huge. The scale for this place is just amazing. And what is good, well done about this, is the doors open up in 4 pieces in different vectors. So you have the door opening this way, and then upwards. Of course, this is a fantasy kind of setting, so the door can actually do this, but in sci-fi you can very easily do this as well. But really, realistically, you'll be more likely seeing doors that open this way, and that looks kind of boring. So what these 2 pieces here adds is variation, and it breaks the monotony of doors opening left to right, sideways. So you have 2 pieces here that open upwards, which is good. Sarah Kerrigan walking in. A lot of overlapping action, which is very typical. Overlapping action in the spines. I'm not sure what these weapons are called already. And then in her hair as well. Would you call these dreadlocks? Oh, the bottom part of her hair. Let's look at the walk. Yep, I like this sort of walk, where the weight is carried upwards quite well, and then when she lands, she drops almost her entire body weight. You see that as she steps down, she will drop quite drastically comparatively for a human, where she lands a bit harder than normal. You can just see that it's not typical of human walking. You don't have not everyone will walk this way. Only select few individuals will walk this way, or if they are feeling something, thinking about something, maybe their mind is full of rage or something, then they might intentionally step on the ground and throw weight to the ground.
Face me, rude. Face me, face me, face me, face me, face me, rude.
The thing about Blizzard's lip syncing is something I don't like. Sure, light travels quicker than sound, but for me, when it comes to Blizzard animation, I always found the lip syncing to be too quick. They can afford to slow it down by 2-3 frames. It's not too apparent here in this shot, but if you look at her lips when she says "face me, Narud," you will see that the lips move a little bit too quick.
Face me, Narud.
It's like she hasn't even said "me," but you can see the "me" coming out already. It's not too apparent and clear in this shot. There'll be one later which is clearer for you guys to see. Then when that comes, I'll point it out.
Face me, Narud. It's rude.
Very well done. The hip sway. I have to circle the ass out. Female hips move a little bit different from male ones. It's just by experience and observation. So I've stared at a lot of ass. I had to do it. It is my job to learn these kind of things. Live and video, yeah, I did it before. So female hips, when the weight shifts to one side of the body, you will see a snap in the hip, in the z-axis. Is it the z? X? No, wait, x, y, and z. Okay, z is forward, yes, so it's a z-axis that will rotate. So if let's say this is the rotation, wow, there's a bad arrow. If this is the rotation angle and this is time, let's suppose neutral, this is 0 degree rotation, it starts here. For females, when they walk, they will rotate it a little. I'm trying to think, how do I draw this graph? They will, right, okay, when they're starting, so this is from stationary position, their hips will keep rotating, and then it will plateau out a little bit. Then when they complete the position, the first step where it goes to the other side, the first step is fine. The first step will exhibit this kind of behavior, and then it will hold. So imagine this is the right leg, the first step coming up already. Let's suppose the right leg has landed, and then the left leg is stepping out. So the weight is all on the right leg already. The hip is at maximal rotation. It will hold, and then when the leg is like the left leg is about to land, the hip will start to rotate, and then all of a sudden it will drop, like a very sharp drop. You will see a snap like this. That is very typical of female hips. Males don't snap that much, but females, it will snap, and also it will do Y rotation as well. Y rotation throughout the walk. So this is something very well done of Blizzard, where the hip will have that snappy motion. A lot of animation studios, they do walk cycles where the hip follows a sinusoidal kind of a wave, not the kind of like this sort of rotation. Let me do it in another color. So real walk, there should be something, whoa, not so low. It should be something like this, the yellow one. That's the more realistic kind of movement. I'm not, of course, drawing and describing it very well, because this is something that you have to do before you can to know and to explain well. It's more like an intuitive kind of a knowledge. So if you just like look at an ass, hips, you see a bit of the snap. It also is contributed from the weight drop that she walks with. But step, 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 step. Very nice. This will be more of the establishing shot. Is there one in the beginning? Nope. Yeah, so this is the establishing shot. Just look at the scale of the place. You don't see Kerrigan anywhere? I don't think so. No, I don't see her. So it's fine when you're doing establishing shots, showing the showing a grand scale of things. You can hide character. You don't have to put characters to show their position in relation to the scene. It's fine. I think for the hips here, yeah, there is the snap as well. And when people stand, they rarely stand straight and distribute their weight across both legs. It does happen. Sometimes I do, but most of the time people will lean the weight on one leg. So you can see there's a kind of like a line of action for Sarah Kerrigan over here. There's a lean. And for organic being like her, everything moves.
From the stars. He told you of his return.
So eye movement, really good. The way human eyes move is very jumpy. It snaps into position rather than smooth movement. Smooth movement does exist, but it is actually very difficult to do. It's rare. The only time I think you can do it is when you're looking at something, you're staring down, and then you're rotating your head. That's the only time you can do. Your eyes will move very smoothly, but otherwise it is always like snapping and jumping around. Your eyes will never stay still in place because we have a blind spot in our eye, in our visual system. Hence the eyes always will move. You can hold still for half a second, 1 second, but not too long. You gotta keep it moving.
Of his return.
If you're talking about seeing someone blank out, stand with space, his eyes are actually still moving. It's just that you don't see it. It's very minute, minuscule movement. Not so much over here. Yep, you can see her eyes snap rightwards to the left of the screen twice. Pop, pop. Do you see it?
Of his return.
Tuck, tuck.
Of his return.
Tuck, tuck. Yep.
He told you of ruin.
Right now we see again establishing shot kind of, but also at the same time it presents scale. Sarah Kerrigan is here. And I mean, look at just her and the size of the steps. Wow. And then the walkway. Huge, humongous place.
Extinction.
This sort of thing, shadow darting across the screen, I don't like this sort of stuff, especially in horror scenery, horror movies, horror shows. I think it's a very cheap kind of jump scare kind of thing. But I can understand why directors do it. They want to let the viewers know that there is something there, but it feels really cheap to me. There is a better way of doing it, I think. Maybe sound, use footsteps, movement of objects to alert, to show that you are there. Or maybe, throw something at the subject. But what is good here is that Sarah Kerrigan here, she doesn't react with fear. Of course, the setting is she shouldn't feel any fear, but it's more of, I want to find you, I'm going to confront you. So it's not like she jumps or anything, but let me get to something. And I'm back. What was I saying? Crap, I forgot what I'm gonna say. So it's more of like a confrontational kind of thing. And for humans, when you react to something, you don't turn your whole body at the same time. You will turn something first. It could be a body first, it could be a head first, but most of the time it will be your eye first, then head, then body. So let's go frame by frame to see if she does it. Yes, she does. Because of the blink arm. Alright, Blizzard actually cheated a little bit here by moving the head and eyes together, but it's fine. because the time gap between the eye movement and the head is actually very short, is almost down to like 1-2 frames. It is that short, so even if you move them together, it's fine. Every time you turn your eye, blink. You will blink. Under very exceptional circumstances, will you not blink when you dart your eyes around? So head completes the movement and then the body moves. Very well done also. Like she turns, wait, to a certain angle over here, like she's thinking like, hey, what was that? Was there something? And then she detects that there probably really is something, and then turns her head further and her body as well. Good job. Good job.
End of all things.
Your god is dead. And he's God is dead. God is dead. God is dead. And he's never God is dead. And he's never coming back.
Yeah, the lip syncing thing.
Dead. God is dead. And he's God.
The dead part, and when she says "and," she literally has completed saying "and," is really the effect, like "and." the jaw has already hit bottom. The sound has yet to come out.
God is dead, and he's never coming back. Never coming back. Never coming back.
Coming back. Really, I think the back is done a little bit too quick. So if you look at the lips, when she says back,
Never coming back. Never coming back. Never coming back.
yeah, I just find it a little bit too quick. Delay it by 2 frames and you'll be perfect. 2 to 3 frames from what I see here. I don't have the sound file to play around, but this is, I think, 2 to 3 frames of a delay. Everything, in lip syncing wise, delayed by 2 to 3 frames, it'll be perfect. It'll be spot on.
Is that what you think?
When I first saw this recently, probably like 2-3 weeks ago, I was like, whoa, I was blown away here because I didn't expect the voice of Jim Raynor over here. And then how she reacted.
Is that what you think?
Rather neutral eyes.
Is that what you think?
And then you see the raising of the eyebrows a little bit. And then if you are into NLP, neuro linguistic programming,
Is that what you...
eyes down left denotes internal dialogue. NLP is a rather general thing. You can apply to the major general populace, but there are always exceptions to human behavior. So if you're taking NLP, applying NLP concept to this animation here, she's having internal dialogue. They were once lovers, Jim Raynor and Sarah Kerrigan. So hearing his voice, is that what you think? She's having internal dialogue. That's the voice of Jim Raynor, but can he be here? Is that even possible? So, and also at this point in time, she's doing top-down processing, allowing cognitive processing influence the behavior. So when she has internalized enough, talked to herself enough, processed enough, she goes for the attack.
Is that what you think?
Yep, the rage, not rage, the anger, the squeezing of power. I don't know how to describe it. Like in animation terms, we will put it anticipation, like preempting the viewer that something is going to happen. Why did she stop? Because she's seeing Jim Raynor in front of her. So this, at this point in time, what is affecting her is what we call bottom-up processing. She is letting her eye influence her thoughts. Like, For humans, there's plenty of examples where someone can be thinking, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Maybe I don't have a very good example, but the first one that comes into mind is probably a guy or a girl that says, when I see my crush, I'm going to do this. Maybe let's keep it simple. I'm going to ask him out on a date, and we're going to do this, we're going to hold hands, and then when the person appears, you'll be like stunned, and you don't do anything. So that is, first part is the top down processing, and then when you see the person, you get stunned and you cannot do anything. That is the bottom up processing, your eyes overriding the cognitive ability of a human. The reason why bottom up is so powerful is because bottom up is a very primal base kind of evolutionary design, if you will. The top down is much less mature compared to the bottom up, because for top down to happen, you basically need the full formation of your PFC, which is the prefrontal cortex, which only fully forms when you're 25, and for some people it never actually fully forms, you know. So yeah, so bottom up over here. So she froze. Right now she's doubting her action, like I'm gonna kill this guy. Like in a previous scene, she's thinking, oh, that guy is Naruto for sure, I'm going to just stab him and kill him. But the moment she sees Jim Raynor's appearance in front of her, she got a shock, like it's a shock to the system, and she's thinking, wait, what if I'm wrong? Could this really be Jim and I killed my previous lover? So she's frozen into action. And what's cool about this rotation here is you might be thinking, hey, the 180 degree is broken, right? But suddenly the camera moves back to the correct plane of the orientation of the camera, and to reach back to where to be on the same side as where the camera started. So the 180 degree rule is not broken. I initially thought it was broken, but in this scene actually it is not broken. It is obeyed to perfection. If you notice her spine at Raynor's head from the beginning, when it's held so-called still, it is moving. It is not frozen.
Sarah.
Checking him out, looking top down, like reconfirming herself, because she is in a lot of doubt right now. Like she's trying to figure out, is this really Jim? Is this not Jim? What the heck is going on? Capitalizing on her momentary lack of action, freezing action. Generally, I hate these kind of things. Like, obviously the character is gonna be dead, right? But somehow the character will survive. And for the shock wave here, boom. If you notice, if you remember back in Legacy of the Void, when the pylon becomes activated, there's a shock wave and the camera shake. I said I will always feel the impact, I will always flinch, but in this case I don't. Why? Because the camera cut. The shock wave came out around here. It comes into your face, but it never fully goes into your face, because all of a sudden the camera cuts up to the aerial shot and the shockwave continues. So even though there is the visual of the shockwave and the camera movement, you don't feel the impact. So stare down, like keep your eyes on your target, but once you notice something wrong, yikes. Okay, so Naruto, in this case Jim Raynor, his body is quite at an angle. Oh, I forgot, I cannot. Yeah, I cannot, I need to delete it. So notice that his right shoulder is a little bit way more forward than the left shoulder. And then when he realizes that something is wrong, he squares up to his target and you see the two shoulders coming more in line. Yeah, right now the right move back and the left move forward. I'm not sure what the intent of this striking of the ground with her spine. What I'm thinking is there's two possibilities. One, she's using it like the animator is doing it like a fist punch the ground kind of thing, because her two hands are already on the ground. She cannot, it's like it doesn't make sense for her to lift it and punch the ground, so use the spine to do it. The second more likely explanation is a setup for the next shot. When she's looked down enough, now she can very strongly say no, because she's allowing the top-down influence again, the top-down processing to influence her action. So she has already concluded that this guy that she's facing is not Jim Raynor, but is actually Narut. So she can go on the attack. Notice she's actually floating. She's off the ground. So yeah, that's why I say that the spine hitting the ground is a setup for this scene. You want things to happen a little before they come into screen. So you see that she's charging the energy. You can see it charge before you see the full thing. The light flashes in the camera, the lens flare. And then when it comes to this where you see the electricity, oh crap. Wrong button. When you see all this electricity sparking from her, it will make a lot of sense. Just like how in Legacy of the Void with the Zealot standing in front of Pylon, he extended his two side blades and then he's ready to fight, and then he looks up to the top right corner, and you have the lightning coming from the pylon, and then the camera zooms out to the pylon, and then it deploys. So same thing, same concept over here. Charging of energy, have all these ground particles fly up, makes sense. It's sort of like preempts the audience also that she's doing something really powerful. Oh. Again, typical human movement. Notice his left hand, the way it opens. Try to recall what I've said. How the hand closes and open. Open index first. Whoops. Wait. Is now I want to go back in frame. Is there something coming out of his mouth? It's as if he spat one eyes shut out, you know. What happened to his lower teeth? Maybe it's a rendering artifact from my capturing of the video. I'm not sure, but his lower teeth looks weird as heck. But never mind. The one thing I don't like about this scene is like how is he staying in position here? Like, yeah, sure, you got smashed into this ice thing, but you can just stay in position there. Like you boom, and then you like you lose the energy to prop yourself up. You're like kind of like slouched down, and yet you're still in there. Maybe because the one possibility is like the ice shard structure has collapsed so much he can actually sit in it. That's one explanation. Very good run cycle. And this is actually well, I need to look at this in further detail. 1 second. Modeling mistake? I don't know. Okay, the Nidus worm comes out. It just I don't know if I'm nitpicking. Okay, you see the so-called horns of the Nidus here, and then it is smooth throughout the body. Okay, let's watch it. And here you can see there's a lot of spike along the body, like spikes. Is going to continue even further. A lot of spikes along the side, macho spikes. And let's choose good frame over here. Spikes, tons of spikes over here. There's a bit of reflection I cannot really see. Whoop. Yeah, but okay, so the horn is here, the first horn. Can't really see. Is this the next part of the horn? Yeah, so this Nidus worm, the body is pretty spiky, but in this part it is so smooth. The what did I press? Yeah, like down this entire length, it's very smooth, too smooth. This is actually something I didn't notice at all. It's only now that I noticed. But I'm not sure. There's no reason why Blizzard would want to cheat models. Like, it doesn't make sense to create one smooth body model, and then in the next scene you have something that is spiky like normal. So I think this might just be down due to the camera angle. Yeah, I mean, look at this. The whole thing is smooth. You don't see any spikes at all. Very weird. Right, so what I want to show here is Oi, where did it go? Okay, when you're going to land, you will be putting your legs forward. Right now, Sarah Kerrigan is leaning backwards. The line of action is a backward kind of a lean. So the two legs are forward in front of the body to prep for the impact. So now she lands, and then the momentum carries her forward. Yeah. Also to frame of reference, because human visual system is drawn to the center of the screen, so when the camera cuts, Sarah Kerrigan is kept in the middle of the frame, like so, near the center, however you want to see it. When it comes to the next scene, she is in the center as well. So it gives the viewer a guide, a frame of reference. Imagine if the Nidus is going to pop up here, like, you'll be lost. Unless, wrong button again. Unless the Nidus is coming in this direction, then maybe it might make sense, but really keep it in the center, because the last scene, Sarah Kerrigan was in the center. her shout comes out. You hear the shout before you see her. It sort of like leads the viewer to know that the next scene is probably going to show Sarah Kerrigan. My only issue is for the intensity that she's shouting at, her mouth is closed, in a rather close position. Like when you hear her shout, you would expect her mouth to probably be like this instead of this with teeth, with with grit with gritted teeth. You expect it to be open. Like really, her kind of shout is how do you do that with your teeth in this position, in the mouth in this position? Is not very possible, I would say. So I think if her mouth was in an open position, it would have made this scene much better. So very good impact, because the Nidus worm impacts here. This is something that doesn't move very well, and the Nidus is coming in full speed here, so there's a point of impact that stops the movement of the Nidus, but the back is continuing to move forward, so there must be some avenue for the energy to be channeled. In this angle, it will channel upwards over here, so you will see that the Nidus, it bang, and then it like goes up and then it shakes. Very good explosion, not the effect, but the way the Nidus exploded. So now the Nidus worm has gotten Jim Raynor in his so-called mouth, in his opening. The thing that is keeping the Nidus closed are these two, I don't know, tentacles, claw, let's call them claw, these two claws. So when something is bursting from within, you will want the gatekeeper, so-called, to get loose first, to lose grip, and then bam, explode. So you will see in this shot over here, these two claw open up, it like loosens and opens up, and all of a sudden bang, all the energy comes out.
You are not Jim. You are nothing.
So a very smart look. I like this. It plays with the mind, and then with a flash of light, Narut shapeshifts into Sarah Kerrigan, her human form.
I'm everything you lost.
So the line "I'm everything you've lost" is two levels. One is to state the superiority of Narut being a Xel'Naga, so-called a god that has a lot of powers, and also shape-shifting into the human form of Sarah Kerrigan is like saying that the human form of Sarah Kerrigan is something that is lost to the present Zerg form of Sarah Kerrigan, where she has lost her humanity. This very brilliant script writing over here. And then her phase of realization, this is very anger, rage focused. And then when she sees her human self and what she heard, she's like thinking, oh heck yeah, you may be right. Okay, so the blade goes through her, energy blade, And this is for dramatic effect. Normally, as I've said time and time again, organic beings like humans, we cannot hold still. Even though you may be strong, you can lift 1 ton with 1 arm, you will still be moving with weight. Even without weights in hand, you will still be moving. But in this shot, you see that the blade is still, it doesn't move. It's held in position. This is for dramatic effect. Great, let me turn off something. Okay, it's turned off. Now you see the color is better. And then before,
Everything lost.
oops, not yet. Okay, coming. As I said before, this is called breaking the joints. I mean, look at the shoulder of the human Sarah Kerrigan. Tell me who can do this. I don't think even contortionists can do this. It's 90 degrees to her back, especially like this one. Her chest, Today is a day of pressing the wrong buttons. Her chest is like, her shoulders are like here, the front of her shoulders, and then her shoulders, her biceps are going backwards like this, and then the forearm. 90 degrees. Breaking joints is used for posing reasons, and also creating impact. Anticipation, posing, impact. Because when you break joints like this, it shows it's going to denote a lot of force backward, and then when you finally pump it forwards, is a lot of impact. So notice, just see, yeah, this is like 100% joint broken animation style. So if you were to look at this animation at normal speed, you will see my computer. Just focus like when she draws and then punches, how much force you can feel, because it's a very huge change. Like, I would expect that she strikes forward in very little frame. So this is the drawing. This is the striking forward already. You can see her shoulder is starting to go forward. Okay, so let's say this is one frame, 2 frame, 3 frame, 4 frames, and her hand is almost at her side already. Yeah, and her shoulder is still leading the charge, and this angle here, it is extremely broken. So I think this is her breast. So the shoulders are here, and the bicep and forearm. So like you see, the joints are still very broken, and then she punches forward, boom. Yeah, so this is like a 7-8 frame kind of attack, very quick. Let's draw attention to her cry of pain. Okay, let's... "10 seconds for you guys to think, maybe comment if you want. Will I thumbs up or thumbs down the cry of pain? Does it fit? Is there something wrong, or is it good?" Let's see if there's any response. I don't think there's any. Okay, let's proceed. To normal folks, they might think this cry of pain doesn't make sense. She got hit and then cried 2 seconds later. But I would say, very good. Why? When you suffer intense trauma, you generally don't cry out in pain. You don't. Because the pain has overloaded you so much that you cannot project your pain. You're still trying to internalize and cope with the pain, not you, as in your body is still trying to. So in the medical field, if let's say you have a trauma site, a whole bunch of people get injured, and let's say you have somehow 2% injured, okay, never mind, 10% injured, and then half, they all visibly seemingly suffer the same degree of injury. You have one group that is shouting, crying out in pain, screaming for help, and another group that is very quiet. Your attention should go to the quiet one. It's very natural for you to want to help the noisy one, the one that are shouting, but always think, if there's so much energy to shout, let them shout. Take care of the silent ones. So over here, she suffered massive trauma. That's why she's not able to cry out at that moment in time. And as she recovers, she starts to internalize the pain, then she cries out. And she's still trying to, still in the process of struggling with the pain. Gripping objects, you will close your hand pinky first. It doesn't make sense. Like, why would you grab something like this and not like this? Is there a time where you grab something like this? Yes, if the object is behind you. But if it's in front of you, you will grab pinky first.
I am everything you never had.
So that's the hug. There is interview by the Blizzard animator that did this scene. So he's actually Chinese. His name is like Sam Wang, if I'm not wrong. So the reason why they were thinking of a way of how do I make this more impactful, dramatic? So, going back to his Chinese root, he's thinking, Chinese, we always, in the olden shows, we have this saying, even if I'm not born with you on the same year, same month, and same day, I will want to die with you on the same year, same month, and same day. So this is what happened here. So the hug, which is a bullshit story that I made up right now. Don't believe in it. I don't know. If anything like that really happened, it's a story that I made up, just made up. So the hug here makes sense because she doesn't want the root to be able to escape. And what's brilliant over here is look at the human form of Sarah Kerrigan as the spine expands out. She is looking at the spines, where in her previous state she was looking down, kind of hugging Sarah Kerrigan, the Zerg Sarah Kerrigan. So when the human looks at the spines, it creates anticipation, reaction as well to the next scene. The viewer will know what the heck is going to happen next. And then the step through comes. The spine come in this direction, camera moves in this direction. Sync, flow.
You've already lost.
Eyes grow up prior to death. And then the eyes close. Very good transition to the Amon, no, not Amon, the Naruto Zelnaga eyes, like alien eyes. Brilliant facial animation over here. So why is it brilliant here is because in the context for this story, up to this point in time, the Zerg Kerrigan believes that Amon is dead. He's not alive. So when Narut tells her that Amon is alive, he's alive, you see that her face of a struggle, like exerting force to hold Narut in place, relaxes into like, what did she just say? And look at her eyes. Her eyes were still previously, and once the word lives comes, her eyeballs start moving, denoting processing of thought. Like it starts darting around. It was darting around a little bit already because eyes don't move, but it starts darting on a bigger scale, much more movement when she hears the word lives. So like she's thinking, oh crap, he lives. The struggle, as the human Sarah Kerrigan says, you will see him. Yeah, see him. That the head movement, wow. Again, very good overlapping action as the human Sarah Kerrigan falls to the ground. Right, yeah. So I want to talk about breast. So okay, if you look at her suit, a ghost suit, it's a combat suit. So you will be thinking this is some kind of armor, metal, pretty tough, hard, not malleable. And yet when she hits the ground, there's the breast jiggle. Yeah. That is the only inconsistency that I cannot wrap my head around. It's a combat suit, so like, how does it allow the breast to move independently? No idea. And again, I don't know why if this Kerrigan is the same as this Kerrigan, to me, actually, her breast as a human form looks bigger than when she's in Zerg form. Maybe it's because of all this like spine stuff design that makes her like stand space, so it makes her breast look smaller. I'm not too sure, but it visually looks to me like the human form has bigger breast than the Zerg, which shouldn't be. If anything, the Zerg form should be bigger. Okay, now here's a concept that may not make sense, but as I explained, it should make sense. So this is the size of a human Kerrigan. Before I actually circle them, who is bigger? Is it a human form that is bigger, or is it the Zerg form of Sarah Kerrigan that is bigger? Like character size. Very intuitively, you might say they are both the same size. Why would one be bigger or smaller than the other? But in actual fact, this Zerg Kerrigan is humongous in comparison to the human Sarah Kerrigan. So this is her true size. The what we will call how much screen space you stand. The Zerg Kerrigan is huge as compared to the human Sarah Kerrigan. So when you have something like this, any movement made by the big one will be very eye-catching as compared to the small one. I have an example. I'm running low on time, but I'm just gonna stretch it a little bit. Hey, I'm on first page. I don't know why. What's the movie called? What's the animation called? Six Hearts? Is it Six Hearts? Six Hearts Princess? Yeah.
L'Oreal
Okay, muted. So, I don't know where in this. The reason why I'm muting is because there's a song. This is a song, so I don't want to. Yes, over here. So the two girls. Is that a good shot? Okay. Over here you see that there is this pink girl in this size, and there is the black one this size. Relatively similar in size. Yeah. But you can see that the pink girl is a little bit bigger. But really they're comparatively similar. So let's play on. Is it really muted? I can still hear sound. It's weird. So after this, they are jumping forward, right? And in this scene, they are carrying the same jumping kind of movement, but from the other side. So the focus is on the black girl, the girl in black. The focus is girl in pink. So both are doing huge, like the same jumping kind of movement. But in this scene, from this angle, you notice, look at the girl in black first. Okay, over here, notice, just take note on the two of them, like their jumping movement. They are like dancing to the same intensity, right? Same intensity. But when it comes to this angle over here, the girl in black is what the heck? She is still jumping the same thing, dancing in the same intensity, but look at the girl in pink. She's literally not jumping, right? It choreography wise, it doesn't make sense. But in terms of animation, it makes a lot of sense. Why? Because the girl in pink is huge. She is humongous compared to the girl in black. So if the girl in pink were to do this, it's going to create a lot of movement in the screen. Your eye will go to the pink one, not the black one. So this is the concept of screen size versus actual size. So actual size, Kerrigan is like, they're very similar, but screen size, it is like this. Scrunch up, fetal position, yeah, and then black screen. So right, I overshot just 3 minutes. So this is the end of the critic. If there's any comments, questions, shoot it now before I turn the stream off. Next week I'll be returning back to Overwatch, because I think I may just have one more StarCraft 2 animation to go, but I'm still in the midst of hunting. But definitely Overwatch will come. I will be doing Overwatch. Next week should be Hero, Soldier 76. But it seems to be, the comment section seems to be silent for now. Hope you guys enjoyed this 3D animation critic. Thanks for tuning in. I can see 2 concurrent viewers. To be honest, I'm still trying to figure out if one is actually me. Do I count as one? I'm not too sure. But let's take it as there's 2, and then really the stats over there, I'm not too sure how I can read it, but I know there are live viewers and also post-stream viewers. So thank you guys for tuning in and supporting. Share with your friends if you like. Subscribe to see more so you don't miss any. Next week, same time, different content, but the same thing that I'll be doing. And if you want to join me in the gaming stream, it'll be on Sunday morning 8 a.m. and I would actually be thinking of extending by another hour, so 8 to 10 rather than the 8 to 9. But for my 3D animation critiquing that you're watching now, it'll be 8 to 9, just 1 hour. Seems like nothing is coming my way, so I'm going to terminate the stream and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in. Goodbye.